Distinguished Citizen Recognition recipient is Mr. Jerry J.B. Hogan. Mr. Hogan grew up in Fayetteville, living here during the last great years of the Old Square when life in town centered around it. He attended Leverett, Jefferson, and Bates Elementary School and Fayetteville Junior High, which was renamed Hillcrest Junior High in 1959 at the beginning of his 9th grade year. He attended Fayetteville High School in 1960 to 1961, and at the end of his school year joined his mother, who was a poet and musician in Southern California's Imperial Valley, where he completed high school in the small farming town of Calipatria. He attended Imperial Valley Junior College in 1963 to 1964, playing for the college baseball team. He entered the military, and after basic trainings, studied to be a Morse intercept operator at Kessler Air Force in Biloxi, Mississippi. And then he spent 2 years in the Air Force Security Service in Japan. After the military, he went back to college, studying at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln before graduating with a BA in English and a minor in print journalism from Central Missouri State University in Warrensburg, Missouri. From 1972 to 1974, he worked for the Parks Department in Lincoln, Nebraska before going to the University of Puerto Rico, where he completed his master's degree in English in the spring of 1976. From 1985 on, he began returning to Fayetteville to visit his mother and other family members who moved back to their original hometown. One of those trips in 1998, his sister Martha Hogan Estes and her late husband, poet Kirby Estes, introduced him to the old Flashback, a flashback article about the Fayetteville Angels, a professional minor league team that existed here in the 1930s. This article triggered his interest in local history and eventually led to his book, Angels in the Ozark, which chronicles the story of the old Angels and their nearly forgotten league they once were a part of. Returning home in 2004, he continued his newly found passion for local history, began researching and writing articles for the Washington County Historical Society, the journal's Flashback. Since then, he has published many articles in the Flashback and numerous short articles for our newsletter, the Flash Forward. Writing has always been a part of Jerry's life, and he has published over 250 individual stories and poems, as well as 8 books. Jerry has also presented over a dozen classes for the University of Arkansas, the Continuing Education Department's OLLI program, and has given history-based tours of places around town, like the Square, Wilson Park, and the Evergreen Cemetery. He was a member of the Fayetteville Historic District Commission, serving 1 year as chairman. He has also served on the board of the historic Cane Hill organization, which is now on their advisory board as well. He's joined the board of the Washington County Historical Society in 2012 and served as our president from 2013 to 2015. He is a member of the East of Zion, a family band consisting of his cousins, where he plays the upright bass in the band, which plays Americana roots music with a touch of bluegrass thrown in for good measure.
It's a real pleasure for me to be included with so many great people who have been honored in the past, including a number of my friends that have received awards, so I'm really happy about that. And I should say it's also especially enjoyable to join us today with my friends Kelly and Donna Milhollan, who's still on the Hill. How can you beat that? That's great. We're really happy about that. I would like to mention a couple of things today. One, a couple of our committees that I wanted to mention the Diverse Settlers of Washington County Committee, which was originally called the Black Settlers Committee, and that was created and driven by Margaret Clark. I don't think Margaret's here today, but she's a wonderful person. I thank her for doing all that. She got a lot of help from Judy Costello on the actual physical work. And I'll mention some other people, but I was going to save them for the other one. The second one, which Susan mentioned on the video, is its official name, I think Bill Kincaid came up with the name, is the Community History and Heritage Committee, and we call it the Out in the County Committee. And it was first chaired by Susan Parks Spencer, and it is now chaired by Dee Steele Ness. So I want to congratulate those folks. History is never staid or boring, It's dynamic and ever-changing with our increased knowledge and understanding of it. With that knowledge and understanding, hopefully we will make a truer and better history tomorrow. Thank you.
Our next recipient for the 2019 Distinguished Citizens Award go to Kelly and Donna Milhollan, collectively known as the Ozark folk duo Still on the Hill. Often called the ambassadors of the Ozarks for the work that they do to preserve our rich culture. These award-winning storytelling songwriters embellish their songs with unique instruments from the hills they call home. Many of these were handmade by old-timers and have amazing stories that go with them. Still on the Hill performs for both adults and children, including hundreds of visits to area schools. Over the last decade, their song topics have increasingly come home from local history, thoroughly researched and steeped in the vernacular. Not only does the duo sing songs of tradition and history and play traditional folk instruments, but they create storytelling experiences. Kelly Milhollan is a fifth-generation native Arkansan who plays guitar, banjo, mandolin, ukulele, and the upright bass, creating sounds that are influenced by his strong Ozark roots. His songwriting is bathed in local history. Donna, at 18, met an old fiddle maker named Denson Bowes, who lived in a tar paper shack in the Arkansas backwoods. His story haunted her for years, and in her late 30s, she wrote her first song about him, opening a floodgate of songs, many about people and places in the Ozarks. Her instrumental palette includes several one-of-a-kind Ozark-made fiddles, mandolin, musical saw, scrub board, ukulele, guitar, mull jawbone, and the Ozark pick and bow. I don't even know what those things are. Among their most important local projects, in 2010, the Ozark Project, which was music about local surroundings, which garnered them the coveted Governor's Folk Life Award. In 2015, Once a River, a year-long journey to write and record songs about the history of the Beaver Lake watershed and the White River. The project included over 35 free concerts, and they gave away 1,000 CDs. In 2016, Still a River told the history of the Buffalo River. In 2017, they collaborated with local documentarian John Irwin on a short film about Milk the Birdman, Moldano, is that right? Moldano, okay. From Fayetteville, who meticulously documented bird data. They made the music for that documentary. More recently, in 2018, they created a CD of story songs that celebrated the historic town of Cane Hill and its important role in the Civil War, the Trail of Tears, the rise of the apple industry. They also collaborated with Shiloh Museum to share the story and instruments of Ed Stilley in order to produce a year-long museum exhibit.
Thank you so much. This is such an honor. It's a bit of a shock. I suppose our journey here is a little unusual to get to this place, but we're very pleased. I suppose if anybody would be shocked, it would have been my father, who was a history professor at the university a long time ago, and probably didn't foresee this, and probably rolling over in his grave right now, but hopefully in a good way. And but you know, I'm very thankful for this organization and for the work that everybody in this room is doing to preserve history. Donna and and I'll let you speak about this as well, but we feel this is important for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I think that I grew up in Fayetteville, and I recognize the special place this is and the uniqueness of our community, and I don't want it to slip away. And I think we all feel the kind of the sweeping homogenizations coming across the country, trying to turn us all into one big culture, and erasing the things that are special in different regions. And I think we have a lot to be proud of here. And I think Donna and I are constantly searching for what it is that makes this place unique, and trying to turn it into a song, and then trying to share it with people, and share it with children, and try to talk to children about the importance of their roots, and make them aware that they do have roots, because we're all so scattered now. And just to remind people, no matter where you are, we're all sharing a root system.
About 45 years ago or something, I moved to the Ozarks, And it's the first time I ever put down roots in my life. I was kind of envious of him, 5 generations. His great-grandfather was Governor Barry of Arkansas. In fact, the statue on the Bennyville Square. But he's got very deep roots, but I always wonder how long you have to live in a place before you can actually claim it. I mean, do you have to be like Native American or I don't know. But,
she's one of those movies, and she's just trying to explain herself.
but
40 years.
But this is where I have roots, and it's such an honor to write songs and get to explore the history of this area, because it means so much to put down roots. And I have a line in a song that says, it doesn't matter where you're born, it matters where you landed. The moral of the story, my friend, is blossom where you're planted. Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much.